For decades, Tim McGraw and Faith Hill have been one of country music's most admired couples. While many celebrity relationships have come and gone, they have remained together through chart-topping careers, sold-out tour, and the challenges of raising a family in the spotlight. To many fans, they represent the rare Hollywood success story, a marriage that has survived fame, pressure, and constant public attention. But, as with any famous family, people have often wondered whether the picture everyone sees is the complete story. Recently, their youngest daughter, Audrey McGraw, shared heartfelt comments about her parents that caught the attention of fans across social media. Instead of revealing hidden drama or family conflict, her words painted a very different picture, one that challenged years of public speculation. So what did Audrey actually say? And why did her comments generate so much attention? Before we get there, it's important to understand how this family's journey began. A family built under the spotlight. When Tim McGraw and Faith Hill married in 1996, they were already among the biggest names in country music. Their careers continued to soar, and together they became one of the industry's most recognizable couples. Balancing two successful music careers while raising 3 daughters was never going to be easy. Between recording albums, touring across the country, and making countless public appearances, their schedule was packed almost year-round. Because of that, many people assumed life behind closed doors must be far more complicated than the smiling photos suggested. Celebrity history has taught audiences to expect shocking revelations sooner or later. Fans have watched countless famous marriages fall apart after years of appearing perfect, so skepticism became almost automatic whenever another perfect family appeared. Tim and Faith were no exception. Over the years, rumors occasionally surfaced online questioning whether everything was really as happy as it seemed. Yet despite the speculation, no credible evidence ever supported claims of major family conflict. Instead, friends, colleagues, and family members consistently described a close-knit household built around respect and support. Still, curiosity remained. As their daughters grew older and started building careers of their own, many wondered if one of them would eventually reveal what life was really like growing up with 2 music legends. That attention naturally shifted toward the youngest daughter, Audrey. Audrey steps into her own spotlight, and like many celebrity children who spend years avoiding public attention, Audrey McGraw gradually began creating her own career. She explored modeling while also pursuing music, showing that creativity runs throughout the family. Although her famous last name certainly attracted interest, Audrey has worked to establish her own identity rather than simply relying on her parents' success. That balancing act isn't easy. Children of major celebrities often face enormous expectations. Every interview, every performance, and every social media post is examined for clues about their family life. Even ordinary comments can quickly become headlines. Because of that, many celebrity children learn to keep conversations about their parents brief and carefully worded. That's exactly why Audrey's recent comments surprised so many people. Rather than offering cautious answers or avoiding personal questions, she openly spoke about the people who raised her, and what she shared wasn't what many expected. The challenge that changed everything long before Audrey ever stepped onto a stage herself. The McGraw family faced one of the most frightening experiences any parents can imagine. Audrey was born prematurely, creating a stressful and emotional period for the family. At that moment, none of the awards, chart success, or sold-out concerts mattered. Inside the hospital, Tim McGraw and Faith Hill weren't global stars. They were simply 2 parents hoping their baby would recover. Experiences like that often leave a lasting mark on families. They can completely change priorities, reminding parents how fragile life can be and how quickly everything else becomes unimportant. While this chapter of the family story has never received the same attention as their music careers, it may explain why Tim and Faith have always spoken so passionately about their daughters. In interviews over the years, both have repeatedly emphasized that family comes before fame. Their careers have been extraordinary, but becoming parents has consistently been described as their greatest accomplishment. As Audrey grew older, That strong family foundation appeared to remain in place. Years later, when she finally began speaking publicly about her parents, many expected at least a few hints of tension. Instead, what happened surprised almost everyone watching. In the next chapter, Audrey shares heartfelt words about Tim McGraw and Faith Hill that completely changed the conversation surrounding one of country music's most famous families. As Audrey McGraw grew older, she slowly stepped into the public eye, not because she wanted to tell family secrets, but because she was building a career of her own. Whether through music, fashion, or public appearances, she began creating an identity separate from being Tim McGraw and Faith Hill's daughter. That alone attracted attention. Whenever celebrity children start giving interviews, fans naturally wonder what they'll say about growing up in one of the world's most famous families. Will they describe pressure, conflict, a difficult childhood? For years, people assumed Audrey might eventually reveal a side of the McGraw family the public had never seen. Instead, she surprised almost everyone. Words that no one expected during a public appearance in early 2026. Audrey was speaking about her family when she made a heartfelt statement that quickly spread across entertainment news. She simply expressed how proud she was of both of her parents and how much she loved them. There was no hesitation. No awkward pause. No carefully crafted answer designed to avoid difficult questions. Just genuine appreciation. That may sound ordinary, but in today's celebrity culture, it's actually quite unusual. Many famous children choose their words carefully whenever discussing their parents. They often avoid becoming part of family headlines. Audrey didn't seem interested in playing that game. Her comments felt sincere and personal rather than rehearsed. More than just one momentum. People assumed those comments were simply emotional words spoken during a special event. But as time passed, the same message kept appearing. Whenever Audrey spoke publicly about her family, she consistently described her parents with admiration and gratitude. That consistency became difficult to ignore. It wasn't one interview. It wasn't one emotional speech. It became a pattern for fans who had spent years expecting hidden drama. This wasn't the story they were waiting for. Growing up around fame, being raised by two international music stars, comes with obvious advantages. But it also creates challenges that most families never experience. Privacy becomes rare. Every public appearance becomes news. Even family vacations can attract photographers. Despite those pressures, Tim and Faith often spoke about trying to give their daughters as normal a childhood as possible. Instead of pushing them toward the spotlight, they encouraged each daughter to discover her own interests. As Audrey matured, that freedom became increasingly visible. Rather than copying her parents, she explored her own artistic direction while still openly appreciating the people who inspired her. It wasn't about escaping their legacy. It was about building on it, a different kind of celebrity story. Hollywood is full of stories about broken relationships between famous parents and their children. Years of busy schedules, constant travel, and public attention sometimes create emotional distance. Because of that history, many viewers automatically expected something similar here. But the available evidence continued, pointing in the opposite direction. Friends, close to the family, frequently described them as supportive of one another. Public appearances showed genuine affection rather than forced smiles. Most importantly, Audrey herself repeatedly spoke about her parents with warmth instead of resentment. That doesn't mean every family is perfect. No family is, but it does suggest that the picture many fans imagined wasn't supported by the facts. Then came an unforgettable night. Just when people thought the story couldn't become any more interesting, something happened during one of Tim McGraw's concerts that immediately captured attention. Across social media, thousands of fans filled the venue expecting another unforgettable performance from one of country music's biggest stars. What they didn't expect was a surprise appearance from someone very special. Without much warning, Audrey walked onto the stage. The audience erupted. At first, many assumed she would perform one of her own songs or simply greet the crowd before leaving. Instead, She made a completely different choice. It was a decision that said far more about her family than any interview ever could. And before the night was over, fans were witnessing one of the most heartfelt moments the McGraw family had shared in public. As the story comes full circle, one thing becomes clear. Sometimes the biggest surprise isn't discovering a hidden scandal, it's discovering there wasn't one at all. For years, people questioned whether Tim McGraw and Faith Hill's picture-perfect family was simply another Hollywood illusion. But Audrey McGraw's own words, her public support for both parents, and her heartfelt actions have painted a very different picture. Based on what has been shared publicly, this appears to be a family that has stayed connected through life's challenges instead of being divided by fame.